What's going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to talk to you about Lucid. Complete havoc in the broader market, but I want to break it down, what's really influencing it, go over some of the current data points, and kind of talk on what is coming next. Before I get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's get right to it. So Lucid right now is down 6.61%, very close to the all-time low for Lucid, which right now is $2.54. The low for today is $2.60. Very little volume. So 25.01 million shares have been traded. 31 is the average. So based on that, you can clearly tell just big money is not really getting into Lucid. And that's been the case for a very long time now. So these are some of the transactions that did occur on the secondary market above $100,000. So based on the bid, the ask, and the selling price, anything that does show a bid essentially is a sell. So a lot of institutions over the last little bit have been selling out of Lucid. And originally I thought maybe had to do with CPI data. They were just kind of taking a step back and waiting for that. But now CPI obviously passed on Tuesday. Today there was PPI and retail sales. Just a lot of the data that is coming out is negative, insinuating that the market might be due for a pullback essentially. And so in stocks such as Lucid's case, it's just going to be magnified so much more. So that is why it is down. Today there's been no news, no SEC filings. I did see a couple of comments in my video yesterday. I think Peter did a interview with Motor Trend or something like that. I've yet to actually watch that. So I'll kind of watch that later today and I'll do more of an analysis on that going into tomorrow's video. But all in all, today there's just a lot of fear. No new analyst ratings or anything like that. So it's just a lot of people just reacting to these two data points. So PPI and retail sales. Again, not necessarily the best circumstance. But shorts though, I'll give you a quick overview. Despite everything, shorts aren't doing all that much. So they're increasing about 24,000 shares, which right now is a drop in the bucket, considering 235.43 million shares overall are being shorted. 26.74% of the free float is being shorted. And right now, cost to borrow average is 20.69%. Utilization is really high, 35.18%. So kind of interesting the fact that shorts aren't really taking advantage of the massive red day to kind of double down. So that's maybe a positive if you want to consider it that way. And then aside from that, looking at options, $438,000 in calls being purchased versus 1.48 million in puts. So dollar value in comparison to the last several days has been a little bit lower, but that's been something I've been bringing up over the last little bit as well. And based on the sentiment though, 52% of all the options being done today are bearish. And right now, of the call options that are being purchased, there's a very strong consensus for it to be above $3 versus looking at the puts, it is anticipated to be sub 250. So the risk versus reward kind of does signal that maybe today is somewhat of an overreaction, but big money would essentially be buying if that was the case, but that's just my own opinion, of course. Like I kind of talked on, these are some of the transactions on the secondary market. These are some of the transactions on the dark pool. So dark pool very much linked to shorting. So this exchange is a lot more popular today. So these are all the transactions over $100,000. Even on a daily basis, this one is probably, of the two exchanges, is a little bit more popular. Looking at the technicals, and so right now with that $2.62, it is between this S3 and this S2. So in comparison to a lot of other growth stocks, Lucid is lagging. So $2.33 is going to be that next strong support versus $2.72 will be that next strong resistance. And so if it does break this 233, then this Elliott wave technicals I've kind of previously pointed will probably come to realization because it does have a pivot point of $3.67. So for as long as Lucid is trading below that, this is where it's anticipated to get between the $1.83 and $2.15 mark. And so for those of you that do remember a lot of my videos, Elliott waves has been on point, exactly where things will be going. So it predicted the kind of reversal previously when it did get to around 250. The only thing it didn't really project correctly was post earnings, but still, let me know your thoughts if you think it's going to get down to the $2 range. And if so, are you a buyer then? Because keep in mind with Lucid on the NASDAQ, if it gets down to $1.83, it is getting very, very close to reverse stock split territory. And I know I did previously state that if it gets below $5, that's where it's considered a penny stock, and normally a company might be more inclined to do a reverse stock split at that stage. But when it comes down to the NASDAQ, if a company is trading below $1 for 30 consecutive trading days, then that is where they're deficient with a NASDAQ ruling. So they have to do something to rectify that, whether it be a buyback, and given Lucid's burn rate and how much cash they do have, that's not feasible. So they would need to do a reverse stock split. Of course, that's not coming anytime soon. It probably would be within the next 6 months if that does occur, but who knows? Time will tell ultimately. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. But quickly moving on, just looking at some of the actual indicators. So it is lower percentile of the Bollinger Band, below a lot of the key pivotal moving averages as well. Stochastic, you do see a bearish deviation, so the red line above the white, so not necessarily the best, and it is technically right now at roughly about 7 or 8, so that is considered very oversold. And once again, as I've been saying, not to sound like a broken recorder or whatever you guys get the saying, but if there is a good piece of news that does come out kind of specific to Lucid, this is where you could see a rush of value investors. But no matter what, as I've kind of stated, it does fall down and back onto Lucid. So Lucid's management needs to get their damn crap together and put out some substance. Be transparent for maybe once in your damn life. More specifically, just talk on the gravity, or just talk on maybe AMP2. Now, a couple of people did message me saying that they were, I guess, contractors out there, and things aren't necessarily going correctly. And of course, we recently did find out about their recall. It didn't really specify on how many vehicles were affected, but all the vehicles essentially out of AMP2 are under that recall, and technically it's over the air update, so nothing crazy, but it still goes to show maybe they are kind of experiencing some difficulties, similar to AMP1 when they first started to kick off production. So I don't know, I feel like transparency is what they need to do right now. Number of retail investors similarly are getting out. So today you're seeing just lack of institutional investing as well as lack of retail interest. And so most of the volume being done today is algorithmic trading, and that's been kind of taking over 2024, so not necessarily the best. So let me know your thoughts. Give yourself a shout out. Have you been buying Lucid? Have you been selling? What have you been doing? In my particular case, I probably won't be averaging down or buying any Lucid, possibly around the $2 range. That's if it does get there. I actually have even stopped doing any options on Lucid, only because just the trend is going down, and the lower the price, the less kind of volatility it will be, because technically the strike prices will be around $2.50 and $3. So it like the volatility will still be there, but the likelihood of it actually hitting one of the strike prices is very minimal. So options will kind of dollar value will be going down. And like I said, over the last several days, this is why you do see the dollar value options have been going down. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And even though Lucid is selling off, take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for an account with Moomoo, throw $100 at it, and you get 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. So definitely take advantage of this promo. With all that said though, I appreciate all of you watching.